not looking back. Eyes on the freeway, Bonnie and Clyde. A classic cliche, we're on the run. This is what we waited for. Take my hand, we'll make it somehow. We can't miss now. I'm done living life with the lights up, done with my own doubts. Be free. Feeling so small, watch the clock ticking off the wall. But tonight I'm letting it go. Spend my coin for sure. I'm gonna be myself, or I could be someone else. No one's stopping me now. I'm gonna skip my breaks, I'm gonna make mistakes. I just wanna feel alive. It's just what I do when I'm out, so try not to hold me down. Feel alive when I'm in this town. Look at those beautiful stars. I wanna drive a faster car. Nothing can break me, no, no, nothing can break me. Try not to hold me down. Feel alive when I'm in this town. Look at those beautiful stars. I wanna take a trip to Mars. Nothing can break me, no, no, nothing can break me. Look at the beautiful stars. I wanna drive a faster car. Lay my troubles to rest. Blow the smoke through my cigarette. City lights looking fine, and I know this is my time now. I'm gonna be myself, or I could be someone else. No one's stopping me now. I'm gonna skip my breaks, I'm gonna make mistakes. I just wanna feel alive. It's just what I do when I'm out, so try not to hold me down. Feel alive when I'm in this town. Look at those beautiful stars. I wanna drive a faster car. Nothing can
Hi, and welcome to today's stream. Uh, just recognizing the 2 minute silence there, so thank you for joining me in that. Now, in today's video, I wanted to look at the platforms that you might be building your website on. There are so many out there at the moment, but I wanted to have a look and see which ones you might want to use, and that's what I'm going to be covering on today's stream. So let's get into this video. So if you don't know me, my name is Jason Kruger, and I help heart-centered businesses build and automate their online systems. So in today's video, I want to go through the different platforms that you might build your website on. There are just so many out there, and people prefer certain ones, but it can be confusing if you're just starting out. And I wanted to cover that today. Now, I'm going to go through different ones, and I'm going to tell you why I like them and why I don't like them. Now, when it comes to building your website online, I look at it in kind of two categories. You're renting and you're kind of own. And what I mean by that is, if you think of it in terms of buying a house or renting a house, you have some platforms where you're actually just renting your website per se, whereas there are other platforms where you actually own it and you can do whatever you like. So the first ones that I'm going to be going through are the ones that you kind of rent. And what do I mean by renting? Well, it's those platforms where you're paying a monthly fee to use their service. But if you stop paying or if you want to move to another system, that's when it becomes more difficult. Because one, if you stop paying, they just shut it off and your website goes down. But if you want to move to a different platform, most of the times you actually have to rebuild your website on that other platform from scratch. So what I'm going to start off with is Wix. Now, Wix is a popular platform where you can build your website, pay a monthly fee, and that's absolutely fine. But I have used this in the past, and I find it kind of clunky to build the website. It can be quite confusing. And again, if you're then looking to move to a different platform, you basically have to rebuild your whole website from scratch. They do have different services in here as well. So if I have a look at these, you have your normal analytics, security, hosting, etc. As you would normally find on any system. You can build your blog. They do have templates, logo makers, and if I look at other ones, they do have an e-commerce platform, so you can go and sell. Excuse me. You can go and sell products from this from Wix itself. They also have other ones where you can do kind of lead generation. So one of the things they have here is online scheduling, so that you can just get people to book an appointment with you. They do have other integrations, so you can integrate it with other systems as well. And let's have a look here. So this is the lead capture tools that they have. There is a CRM that you can also add to your package, but that's by Ascend. And this is where you also have your lead capture. Now, one thing that I don't like when services start trying to do all these things is how good are they? Because Wix was a website builder, but now they're trying to add more services to their packages, which I can understand why, because they just want everything under one roof, and they want that kind of slice of that pie as well. But what I find when services do that is sometimes it's a bit of a half-hearted attempt, and they're not that great in doing what they're meant to be doing. So if it's email marketing and stuff like that, that's never that good. Saying that, if you wanted to go with Wix, they do have different pricing plans, and it is relatively cheap. But one thing you do need to remember is that you are going to be tied into their platform, and if there are features that you want to be able to do on your website that they don't support, then you're not going to be able to have those either. It also comes down to the design of the site as well. You will be limited by what their system can do. Now, another system like Wix is Squarespace, and this again is a very popular system because of its ease of use in building your website. And I do like Squarespace. I don't hold anything against them. But again, you're renting your website from them. You're also then limited by what their platform can actually do for you. So as you can see, you can build some really great websites on Squarespace. And they also have other parts to their systems. Like they do have the e-commerce side of things, and they do have email marketing. Now, I have looked into this for other clients, and unfortunately, Squarespace doesn't integrate into any other system like Wix does. Wix has other integrations, so you could move data, etc., to other systems if you wanted to. Unfortunately, Squarespace doesn't have that. So if you were doing email marketing and that through their system, you do it through their system, and you're locked in. So again, it's a monthly fee, and you can add these extra things onto it. But again, you're then locked into their system, and in the future, if you kind of outgrow their system and you want to add more features to your website, you will then have to look at rebuilding the website from scratch. Now, saying that, I have seen loads of people using Squarespace, and it depends on what you're looking to do. And if you're happy just being locked into their system, then that's absolutely fine. And it also depends if you're going to be doing the email marketing and things like that as well. They do have their kind of CRM kind of attached to it, and the same with Wix. But when you want to start doing more complex campaigns, I don't think their systems are going to be up to it. So let's have a look where the pricing is. So if we look at their pricing, it is a bit more than Wix. But again, it's looking at the difference between them and seeing which one you prefer to use. When it comes to any of these softwares to build your website, if you are building it yourself, then Squarespace, Wix, and another one that I'm going to be showing you in a moment are all great options, because they do give you templates, and you can get a relatively good website up and running fairly quickly, even if you don't know a lot about building websites. So those are their different pricing points. The other one that I wanted to show you, and under this kind of umbrella of renting your site, is WordPress.com. Now, this is basically a WordPress website, but it's one that it's got everything on there for you already. And again, you pay to use it. You can see they also have competitive pricing, and you can do e-commerce, etc., on here as well. Now, in the past, when I've had clients use WordPress.com, and I then kind of moved them onto the full WordPress site where you're not paying a monthly fee to use it, there are limitations in that you can't always upload your own plugins to it, so you can't add features to it. And again, you're then limited to what they allow you to use on the platform. But this, again, is built on WordPress, and it does make it very easy to build your website. Now, there's another kind of category which is still kind of under the renting umbrella, but it is different in that these ones are actually landing page builders. So when you're looking to create your landing page to promote an ebook, for instance, or you're building sales pages, you would use these systems to build those pages for you. But what they've done now is that they're now adding in the functionality where you can actually build your website on those as well. So let's have a look at the first one of these, and that's Lead Pages. So I have loads of clients that use Lead Pages to build out all their different marketing material, their landing pages, etc. But none of them have actually used it for websites. Now you can build, really good websites on here, as you can see. Here they show you some examples of what you can do with their system. Where these ones kind of fall down is if you want to do your content marketing. So if you want to be writing lots of blogs, etc., these systems don't have that functionality. So that's where you would still need to use a different system to create your blog, where you will be writing your blog posts, etc. These are just kind of more static sites where the content on there, once you put it on there, doesn't change. And if it does change, you then got to go into the editor and change it. So these systems aren't built to have a blog on them. You'll need a different system to be able to do that. So Lead Pages is a good one to use, especially if you are starting out and you're not going to have a blog just yet, but you are going to be building landing pages. Then Lead Pages could be something to look at. Now, if I look at their pricing, and let's go to the pay monthly, you can see it is more expensive than the others when it comes to actually building your website on Squarespace, etc. But then you are going to be getting proper landing page templates, etc. On these platforms. So you can then start building those to build your email list. Now with this system, they don't have kind of the autoresponders or the CRM system as a package within these systems that you would then need to get an external CRM system. And in my opinion, that's not a bad thing, because those ones are built to do that exact role. Another one that's very similar to Lead Pages is Convertri. It's one that I use myself. And again, in here you can build all your landing pages, funnels, etc. And you can build your website in there, and they give you loads of templates as well, so you can build those out. If I look at the pricing on here, they do have different ones. This is one if you're just going to buy it directly from the website. So this one's basically $100 a month for a monthly package. Again, you have different more things that you can do with this compared to some of the others. But if you are wanting to look into Convertri, I would actually say sign up for their trial, because they normally then during the trial they give you other options to carry on working with. Now, kind of a competitor to Convertri is ClickFunnels. And again, this is a funnel builder, so you build all your landing pages, thank you pages, etc. But again, you can build your website in this if you wanted to. So again, it's similar, where you'll be building your landing pages, etc., and they have that functionality to build your website. And again, this doesn't have a CRM or autoresponder built in. You will then have to then connect to another system. Now, if we have a look here, most of the time with ClickFunnels, you have to kind of sign up for their trial to then get their pricing. The last time I checked, I think it's around $97 again for their lower tier product. Now, those were the kind of the renting side of things. Now I want to look more towards the ownership side of things, and the one that I prefer and I use for all my websites is WordPress. Now, there are other systems similar to WordPress like Drupal, Joomla. They're all content management systems, but they're not as big as WordPress. WordPress is the kind of go-to system for people to build their websites. The last time I checked, they had between, I think it was over 35% of all websites on the web have been built using WordPress. So that's a large number of websites. So, it's the one that is now kind of become the standard when you're starting out building your own website. Now, there are always those cynics that says, "Oh, but WordPress gets hacked all the time, etc." Yes, if you are not updating your plugins, your themes, etc., and if you don't have it on a reputable hosting provider, those are always likely. But I could always say, are you using Windows? Because Windows is also one of those systems that has dominated the PC landscape for years, and a lot of companies and a lot of just personal users use Windows. And because it's used so much, there's a bigger footprint for hackers to attack because everyone's using it, so it makes it easier for them to attack that thing with WordPress. But as long as you keep up to date, you have your antivirus and etc. on your PCs, then you're absolutely better off. You as protected as you can be. And the same goes with your website. As long as you're keeping everything up to date, then you shouldn't have a problem. But again, maintenance, keeping everything up to date, having regular backups as well, because if something does go wrong, at least you've then got backup to fall back to and upload those if anything happens. Now, another reason why I like WordPress and I like the ownership model more is that, like I said, if you're on one of these other systems and if they change their terms of use, for instance, and you fall foul of that, you could have your website shut down indefinitely. And then where does that leave you? If you are relying on your website for income, especially if you've got an e-commerce website, then all of a sudden that gets shut down. You've got to then start from scratch on that platform. Whereas with WordPress, you own all the content on there. And as long as you have your backup, if something ever happened to your hosting company, you could take your backup, sign up with another hosting company, set up your website on there, and away you go. So you've always got ownership of that. You can always move it to different hosts. Your website will look the same, etc. Still have the same functionality, just on a different host. And that's why I like WordPress. But the same goes with the other reason. There's such an ecosystem around WordPress now, where you can build some magnificent and highly functional websites using it. And I think people forget that they think that WordPress is just a blogging platform. Yes, that might have been the case 10, 15 years ago, but it has moved on drastically since then. You have your content marketing, so you have your blog posts, etc. That's always going to be a cool feature of it. But now you can build out some superb looking websites with all the different themes that are out there. Now, again, when you're looking at using themes, you've got to just be careful which ones you go for, because sometimes theme developers try to build a theme that does everything for everyone, which means that it's going to have a lot of bloat in it. It's going to have functionality that you might not need, which then will slow your website down. So when you're looking at themes, try find one that it has been developed by reputable developers that are well known in the WordPress community and have got a long-standing relationship with it as well, because a lot of them also then contribute to the actual development of WordPress itself. And those are the types of companies that you want to be looking at, because they've got a vested interest in making sure that the whole ecosystem works. And the same goes with plugins. There are so many different plugins out there which allows you to add lots of functionality to your website depending on what it is that you're looking for. So you can have your e-commerce on there. And there are great plugins for that. The one that I normally use for all my e-commerce sites that I build for clients is called WooCommerce. It's become the kind of standard in the WordPress community when it comes to e-commerce. Other themes that I use is the Astra Pro theme. It's very lightweight. It allows me to build out all types of websites, and those are kind of the theme that I use for most of my sites because it is lightweight. I can add in extra bits to it if I need more functionality, and I can then design it and make sure that every site that I build is unique for my clients. But I also know that it is well supported within the WordPress community, and they've always improving. I also use page builders. Now, page builders weren't around, a few years ago, and so you were kind of stuck with other tools to try and make your site look more unique. But with all these different page builders out there, you can now build different layouts for your website, and it also makes it easier, especially for my clients, to make changes to their website themselves. Gone are the days where developers would build your website, but then they'd also then charge you, huge fees to then make changes to your website after the website has gone live. I don't think that's great for the client. If they want to make some changes, they don't want to wait a week, 2 weeks before you've got time in your diary to make those. They should be able to go in there and make those changes themselves. And that's what I like about Page Builder, is that it is easy to use, it is easy to understand, and clients and even beginners, if they're using these themselves to build their own websites, it's very easy to understand, and they can go and build great looking websites as well. And again, they also provide a lot of templates that you can use as a starting guide to move on that process. Now, the one that I use is called Beaver Builder. It's one that I've used since they kind of started out, and I just really like that whole kind of ecosystem around it. There are others like Elementor. There's others out there. The bakery one, WP Bakery, I think it's called. There are so many different page builders out there. Again, just got to be careful and see which ones are the best. The two top ones that were probably the top three is going to be Divi, Elementor, and Beaver Builder. Those are the three that most people use, and any one of those are great page builders. But the one that I really enjoy using is Beaver Builder. But if you like Elementor or Divi, then that's absolutely fine. So these are the ones that I prefer using, and it's the reason why I like to use WordPress to build on my website, because I own all of that. So once you have all your plugins and that, you own all of that, and it can't be taken away from you. So I hope you like the content of this video, and it might have given you some idea of what platforms to look at. And if it did, please consider subscribing to the channel and clicking on the notification bell as well, so that you get notified when I post a new video. Now, if you have got any comments or anything like that regarding any of the different platforms that I've discussed today, please leave a comment below, and I will make sure that I answer it for you. If there are any other platforms out there that you think should have maybe made the list, then please let me know, and I will probably make another video on that. Now, saying that, there are other platforms out there that are more custom built platforms, and a lot of these are built by the website design companies that you might ask to build your website. Now, those are great as well, but I find them very limiting, and I have got a few clients that have their current websites on these types of platforms. Now, when I have gone to look to edit anything in there for clients, I find those systems, because they're more custom built, they're only as good as the developers that have developed it. And if it's a small team, you don't know how good those platforms are, because it's not been thoroughly tested, like WordPress, for instance, where there are millions of people using it, and they have bigger development teams around the world looking at the code, making sure that it is as secure as possible. When you're on these other more custom platforms, it's hard to know how good these platforms are. And when it comes to adding more functionality to those websites, again, you're then it's all down to the developers of that system to add that functionality for you. And if it's not something that's on their roadmap, you might never ever get that functionality. So do be careful when you are looking to get websites built and they have their own custom platform. Just be wary of the pitfalls that it might carry when you're looking to do other things to the website in the future, because you might not be able to do it and you'll get frustrated, and that website's never going to do exactly what you want. So if you have any other comments regarding this or anything else, please leave it below, and I will make sure to answer them. So I think I've covered everything that I wanted to cover today. But again, if you would like to subscribe to the channel, just click on the subscribe button and click on the little notification bell so that you get notified when I post another video. So I hope you enjoyed today's topic, and I hope to see you on the next one.